Fred Gage is a 1972 graduate of Montrose Hill-McCoy High School and the 2011 Special Achievement Award recipient for the research conducted at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, Naval Medical Research Center, Department of Surgery, Regenerative Medicine at Bethesda, Maryland. Fred is the Senior Clinical Research Coordinator overseeing the development of individualized medicine for the wounded warriors with extremity wounds from the current conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq. Fred's current position allows him to conduct bench-to-bedside research with collaborators on the brave heroes who have been wounded while defending our country. The wounded warriors who arrive at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center with extremity wounds that are enrolled in Extremity Research Program help the team identify certain cytokine and chemokines that are predictive of either wound healing or delayed wound healing. The team also identified detrimental microorganisms that are responsible for causing the delayed healing of these extremity wounds. Their research also determined the cause of the development of heterotopic ossification, which is the growing of bony tissue in the muscle of the wounded, and developed methods to prevent the growth of heterotopic ossification. Both the treatment of the cytokines and chemokines and the heterotopic ossification treatments are under FDA protocols. Fred's research also includes the development of new methods and procedures in the animal models of swine, goats, sheep, dogs, and monkeys. The animal work has led to a patented method to preserve kidneys up to 8 hours after the heart has stopped beating. The kidneys are resuscitated and transplanted successfully into the human who agree to accept this type of kidney for a transplant. Fred is currently working on the swine model to develop equipment and solutions to preserve amputated limbs and then transplant the limbs back onto the pig. Once this method is developed in the animal model, it will be implemented on wounded warriors with amputated arms. The arm will be placed on a special designed perfusion circuit with special designed preservation solutions. Both the arm and wounded warrior will be transported back to Walter Reed, where the arm will be transplanted back onto the wounded warrior. Fred is also working on a new solution to preserve kidneys at room temperature in a monkey model. If the method is successful, then the kidneys can be treated while being preserved to eliminate steroids and other medications that prevent rejection while on the perfusion circuit. When the testing is complete on the monkey model, then the kidneys can be recovered from the wounded warriors who succumb to their injuries, when their families give consent to recover the kidneys. Fred is also the organ procurement director to oversee the recovery of kidneys from the deceased wounded warriors in Germany and Japan and transported back to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center for transplant into veterans and military personnel. In Fred's spare time, he is also working on developing the recovery of placental blood for the treatment of radiation poisoning, bone marrow transplants, and sickle cell disease. This procedure is done in a research lab away from the military. After graduation from Montrose Hill-McCoy High School in 1972, Fred's thirst for knowledge led him to several universities. DeVry Institute of Technology in Columbus, Ohio was first on Fred's list, where he received an associate degree in electronics engineering in 1974. At that time, Fred learned the computer language Fortran and used computer cards to program computers. Ohio State University was next on Fred's academia list, where he received a Bachelor of Science in Circulation Technology in 1982, which is the operation of the medical equipment to maintain heart circulation while a person is on bypass for open heart surgery. He chose to work while he attended Ohio State so that he could pay cash for his degree and avoid student loans. Fred continued his love for music when he played his trombone in the military band while attending Ohio State. While doing his pediatric perfusion rotation at Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio, he saw Ohio State's football coach, Woody and Mrs. Hayes, bringing Christmas gifts to needy children that were patients. Every Friday, except for away football games, Coach Hayes visited the seriously ill children at the hospital to encourage both the children and their parents. Hamilton College in Clinton, New York, was next on Fred's academia list, where he received both a Master's of Science degree in 1996 and a Doctorate of Philosophy in Healthcare Administration degree in 2002. Fred's special memories of Hamilton College include the lovely New England fall and the demanding advisors for his thesis and dissertation. Fred's work ethic started at a young age. During his high school years at Montrose, Fred was involved in many extracurricular activities. He gave 100% in everything that he participated in, but music and running surfaced to the top of his list of favorite endeavors. Fred sang in the choir during all 4 years of high school. He participated in Montrose homecoming festivities and bonfires and parades with his trombone that he also played in both the marching band and concert band. Fred had fun playing in the jazz band in 1967 and 68 under the direction of Mr. Ross, which involved playing at different events such as dances and competition. Fred enjoyed being on teams and ran on the undefeated Rams cross-country team for 3 years and spent 2 years on the Rams track team where he also ran distance. Between the two, Fred enjoyed cross-country more since they practiced and ran at Rumble's Tree Farm on McKinley Road. When asked what he used to think about when he ran, he only remembered that he wanted to lap his brother Norm on the track when they competed. During 3 years of his high school career, Fred was a proud member of the Rams varsity club, worked on the yearbook staff and the Rambler, and was on the Montrose Rams basketball team. Special memories of teachers at Montrose include both of his high school band directors, Mr. Ross and Mr. Dennis Miller, and his physics teacher, Mr. Jim T. Kelly. Some of Fred's favorite memories of Montrose include attending band camp and participating with the band during the Cherry Festival competitions in Traverse City, Michigan, and marching in the inaugural Montrose Blueberry Festival Parade in 1972, which attracted thousands of people. Fred is the son of Ruth Ann and the late Hap Walters of Montrose. He was born at St. Joseph's Hospital in Flint, Michigan. His childhood involved growing up in Montrose from kindergarten through his high school graduation from Hill-McCloy High School in 1972. As a child, he lived in the city of Montrose, then moved to North Seymour Road when he was about 10 years old. Fred has a younger brother, Norman, who graduated a year after Fred in 1973 from Hill-McCloy. Norm practices law in Gladwin County, where he was the former prosecuting attorney. Fred's younger sister, Dana, graduated in 1978 from Hill-McCloy and works for the Secretary of State. Another sister, Melissa, passed away in 1971. The family is thankful that they had a surprise 83rd birthday party for his dad, Hap, before he passed away in 2008. His sister Dana remembers Fred as being pretty serious most of the time. He used to get up really early in the morning to do his homework and study, so he could concentrate without distraction. We were taught to work hard and always do your best. If you're going to do something, give it 100% of your effort and time, or don't bother. We were raised with a strong faith, solid values, respect for others and ourselves. Fred has always lived up to this teaching and worked hard at what he sets his mind to. Sometimes I wonder if not to a fault. I have a great deal of respect for all of Fred's hard work, years of dedication, and the research he is doing to make a difference in the lives of others. Two of Fred's closest high school friends were Norm Good and Matthew Fayadellum, since Matt and Fred had a lot of classes together. One year, Fred helped Matt as student managers for the basketball team. Matt remembers Fred as kind of a shrimpy guy who loved to run. He didn't weigh more than 98 pounds during high school. We used to joke about Fred's beard, or lack of, and nicknamed him Nubs. I always expected that Fred would work in an office one day and be successful. Now I'm very proud of his education and the amazing work that he's doing. Not only was Fred's brother named Norm, but so was his good friend and classmate, Norm Good, who recalls, "Fred was always a smart guy. School seemed so easy for him. When everyone else was just hanging out on the weekends, Fred could be found home studying. Now he's working on reattaching limbs for wounded soldiers. He's brilliant." Fred has been married to his wife Sherry for 26 years. They met singing with a musical group in Central Ohio that traveled to different churches giving concerts and became engaged. Fred and Sherry were married on March 23, 1985 in Columbus, Ohio at the church they attended. Although Fred was the oldest of his siblings, he was the last one to get married, much to his mother's delight. Fred and Sherry live in Kensington, Maryland, where Sherry works for the Montgomery County Police Department as a school crossing guard and enjoys working with elementary school children, Fred, and raising their daughters. Fred and Sherry are very proud of their two daughters, Alexis and Catherine. Alexis is the oldest daughter and is a freshman at Penn State, where she is majoring in biology and minoring in forensic science. Katie is the youngest and is a sophomore at Montgomery Blair High School. Alexis and Catherine completely surprised their parents with a 25th wedding anniversary party. They found a way to get their parents to the church to check on some equipment and were greeted by the congregation. Everyone was dressed up, except Fred, who had his scrub shirt on. They had a wonderful dinner. His daughters had pulled a fast one and created a special memory. Fred enjoys listening to jazz and big band music, and he still plays his trombone at his church. His favorite vacation was going to Hawaii, when the Hilton Turtle Bay Resort was initially opened on the north shore of Oahu. Fred has traveled to the major cities in Europe and to Asia on many occasions. During the summer of 2011, Fred was busy preparing to travel to Bangkok to research the new organ preservation solution and traveling to the military hospital in Germany to start his research study on patients traveling back from Afghanistan and Iraq with war injuries. Fred personally went to the Armed Forces Research Institute of Medical Science in Bangkok to make sure the lab was set up exactly as he needed and to meet the staff. Fred will be overseeing the pre-FDA animal studies and then will be directing the FDA approval for a Phase 1 FDA human clinical trial on the organs that are recovered from the brave heroes who succumbed to their injuries at military hospitals around the world. The kidneys will then be brought back to Walter Reed to be transplanted into military members, military family members, and veterans who are on the military kidney waiting list. Over the summer of 2011, Fred was also busy moving into the new hospital, since Walter Reed Army Hospital merged with Bethesda Naval Hospital and became the new Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, Bethesda. The Montrose Hall of Fame Committee is anxious to follow Fred's research to reattach limbs to wounded soldiers and transplant organs. We are extremely proud of Fred's accomplishments and welcome Fred as the Special Achievement inductee in the class of 2011.